up? What's up? What's good to everybody that may be watching this later or maybe watching this now, man? Number one, I just want to tell you guys that this live will strictly be about. This live will be strictly to everybody out there that feels how I sometimes feel stuck. Okay, we will be talking about some income stream aspects, but I want to actually do something a little bit different, right? I know a lot of us, we have short attention spans. What the heck is that? But it's important that everybody out there that feels stuck realizes that the feeling of not feeling like you're doing enough or like you are getting the progress or the instant gratification or even the recognition that you feel like you are owed, that is what is going to keep you moving. That's what's going to keep you growing. That's what's going to keep you building. All right. Now, if I'm being honest with you guys, I really, at some point, had to realize that I had to stop being a victim. And see, a lot of us, we rather watch videos of drama. We would rather watch other people tell us how rich they are, supposedly, how successful they are, and not really dig deep into the problems and issues that we have as individuals, right? Number one, everybody that's watching this, whether it's here now or later, you have potential, right? But potential doesn't mean anything. And I've said this before in another live, but I remember when I was in high school and I was a senior, and I was told that I had potential to be able to play in college. I remember it was a Temple University scout that was coming that night. My coach, he walked me around the court. We were walking around the court, basically doing laps. And I remember him telling me, hey, man, like, you're explosive. You got this, you got that. You can do X, Y, and Z. But I'm going to tell you something, Brandon. And this changed my perspective when my coach in high school told me this. He said, I feel so sad that you didn't have a man in your life. I didn't understand it at that point. Because remember, I'm just a young man, a freshman that's playing ball at a high level. And I got a coach telling me, I feel so sorry that you did not have a man in your life. And I remember me asking him to explain what he meant. And I remember what he explained. He said, because if you had a man in your life, Brandon, you would have way more structure. I talked to your teachers. Your teachers told me that you weren't paying attention in class. You didn't hand this in. And I'm going to tell you, no college scout is going to want somebody that doesn't do their work. I remember him telling me this. And he said, if you had a parent that actually could raise a man, you would be set. You would be an AAU. You would be this, and this. He was just telling me, I am so sorry, Brandon, that you were not raised by a man. And I remember him after that telling me, you got so much potential, Brandon. You got so much potential. And that day changed me because I was fucking up in school, right? I was messing up in school. And, you know, back in the day when you was messing up in school, if you had a certain grade, you couldn't play basketball. So that ended up happening to me, right? I had a certain grade that didn't reach the requirement and I couldn't play ball. And 9 times out of 10, if I could remember vividly, it's because I was out hustling, doing Wake Up Now, trying to get people to sign up rather than learning Spanish and learning about oxygen molecules and learning what X really meant, right? And the main point I'm trying to bring to you guys is that no matter what potential you think you got, it does not matter. It doesn't matter. Your potential does not matter because when somebody says, hey, such and such, you have so much potential. In my opinion, that is them telling you that they don't see you reaching it. Because, see, for somebody to see potential, it is them seeing something that they guess you are. But them also saying what you are right now isn't good enough. And that is why every day I wake up, I bust my ass to make sure that I am better than I was yesterday. And I do this not because I feel like I owe somebody anything, or I feel like if I don't make money, I'm not worth anything. No, I bust my ass every day because I know that I will never let another person, even though when he did it, he didn't do it with any ill intent, tell me that I have potential. Because it's not about the potential, it's about what's in front of you. And a lot of us, we feel stuck. We feel like we are in a place where we either don't know where we want to go or we can't get to where we think we belong. Some of us think that we belong on top. Some of us think we belong in a certain state, a certain area. Some people think that they deserve a certain amount of money in their bank accounts. The point of the matter is, no matter what you feel that you deserve, you don't have it because you have not earned it. Now, this is going to go out and be very controversial because, see, you have some people that say, well, I don't have what I don't have because of the way I look, because the way I speak, because my ethnicity, because my religion, because my dating preference. And, you know, I'm going to tell you something really real and thorough and blunt. As long as you keep telling yourself that you don't have something or you're not in a position that you want to be because of someone else's control or something that's out of your control or somebody else's dictatorship or somebody else's rules, right? You are going to continue to be stuck. I remember sitting around with a few entrepreneurs that I was friends with, and we were talking. One guy had a beard line, right? He had a line of like beard stuff, like beard oil and rubs and all this other stuff, right? And we talking about business, and I remember this guy telling me, like, yeah, man, like, I ain't never going to be able to make it big because I'm black. And they not really trying to let us in the door. I said, bro, I got to get away from you. He like, what you mean? I said, bro, I got to get away from you because, see, it don't matter the skin. It don't matter the age. It don't matter the religion, right? If you a hustler, you going to find a way around it no matter what. He said, nah, bro, that's not how it works. Nah, because if the person wants to gatekeep, they're going to gatekeep and X, Y, and Z. And, you know, part of what he was saying was true. But what I told him was, I'll be damned if I let somebody write my book. I'll be damned if I let somebody tell me where I'm going to be or where I can go. And no matter what skin color, what my dating preference is, what area I am in, I'm never going to allow anybody to have the ability to dictate what I do. And sometimes that comes with a bunch of losses, right? Like, hey, I can't go to a regular 9-to-5. I can't, because at this point in my life, if I was to go and get a job, I probably would be fired on the first day or walk out, because there's certain things that I know and certain things that I've seen that wouldn't allow me to take orders from somebody that is working for someone else, right? And it's a honor to be an entrepreneur, but it's also scary as fuck, because you have to realize that as an entrepreneur, every day you got to wake up in survival mode no matter what. And see, every day as an entrepreneur, you got to wake up understanding that all you can do is control the controllables. I'll tell y'all this, man. I dropped off about, I think it was like 7 packages yesterday at the post office. Not one of them motherfuckers is moving. And I called them today. They like, oh, we didn't get the package. I'm like, what you mean? That's thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars of products, bro. But when you have the information and education, you're going to get through it. That's with anything. That's true, right? The education and information. But what if you don't know how to utilize that education and information that you acquired? What happens if you got the education and you also got the information, but you use the information and education in the wrong manner and then you fail? Or you just don't channel it to the right income stream or whatever you're trying to channel it towards. See, because it's okay to have your stuff, right? Your information, and have your toolbox, right? The tools you need to be successful. But see, if you have those tools that you need to be successful, prime example, I got a warehouse full of products, but if I don't list them on the right platform and list them the right way, they just gonna sit in the warehouse. I got a whole bunch of assets, but if I don't utilize those assets and put them in the right place, they're not gonna be seen. And like that's where, as a hustler or as an entrepreneur or as somebody that is trying to get to the point to where they get that freedom that they define, right? You have to realize that you may be everything that you need to be right now. You may be that person that can start that business. But if you're not putting yourself out there in the right places, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because nobody's going to see you and nobody's going to care about what you're bringing because you're not valuable to them. And that's where a lot of people end up quitting because they like, yo, I'm smart. Okay, great. Nobody cares. Yo, I know how to articulate myself. Great. Nobody cares. But why? I know how to do all these things because I taught myself that. Yeah, but did you put yourself in the right place for people that actually deem that valuable to appreciate? And a lot of people haven't. A lot of people are too scared to move. A lot of people are too scared to invest, whether it's time or money. A lot of people are just too scared. And I'll give you guys a great example. Drop shipping, right? Digital products. This new age of social media where everybody is billionaires and millionaires and thousandaires, but they making reels every single day. And these is really good reels. Like they're edited to the T, right? How the hell you doing that and making money and running that company? Or you got people out there that are telling you that you can do the least and get the most out. And what I mean by that is you got people, prime example, because I work with these individuals every day. You got people that's telling you, yo, bro, I'm going to teach you how to phone flip. And all you need to do is use Facebook ads. All right, cool. So then you got some person that wants it really bad and they really want success. So they're like, all right, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pay for this course or I'm going to pay for this service and I'm going to use Facebook ads and I'm going to become rich. Until they realize that it never happens. You're not rich because you try to take the short route because you didn't want to put your effort, your knowledge, your information towards the right thing. Instead, you thought you could take a shortcut. And that is why a lot of people feel stuck. You feel stuck because you're not acting like you are surviving. You're acting like you are content and comfortable. Yesterday, I don't even know how to put this. Yesterday, I was driving and I saw the block party, right? Now, it was this cookout. And I'm like, why is it a cookout this early in the year, right? But it was a cookout. I'm trying to drive past it, but it's all these fights breaking out. And, like, everybody's surrounding the cars and everything. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, yo, I got to get out of Philly, right? But then every time something happens to me, I try to, like, get a message from it, like learn something from it, right? Because I don't think anything happens for no reason, right? So this girl, she looks like the girl Meatball. I don't know if you guys know who Meatball is. She from Philly, and she was on Baddies, and she be fighting and stuff, right? So, and this girl fighting. So I pull my car over, not to record, but I pull my car over to just analyze and look at people in their surroundings. Because remember, I wasn't raised in Philly, so I don't think like a person that, may be raised in Philly. Like I don't understand certain things. So I like to understand how people become a product of their environment. So I'm watching this person. She fighting in the street. And then when she get done fighting, right? She gets back and then she like gets on the phone and starts talking. And then she puts her phone down. This is like, it happened like 5 times in a row. And then she's like, no, I want another round. And then she started fighting again. So I had to think to myself, why is this individual fighting over and over and over again? And then the person I was with was like, well, you got to understand, this is their environment. Like, they're a product of their environment. And then I said to myself, well, do people get to choose what products they are, or do the environment? And I thought this to myself because there was one point in my life where I had a bunch of money, but also was very depressed and wanted to end everything. There was a time in my life where I actually moved out of Philly and I moved to California, and I was around celebrities, I was around models, I was around anything and everything you can imagine, and I was good. I was good, right? But mad depressed. Still. But I moved out of Philly, but I was mad depressed. And I didn't understand why I was depressed and why I felt stuck living in Cali. I just didn't understand it because Cali is where I wanted to be. But I'm going to tell you why. Because, see, your environment does not dictate who you are. It doesn't dictate the opportunities you get. You do. See, if you allow people to tell you that you become a product of your environment, you're not becoming a product of your environment. You're becoming a product of what someone else is telling you you are. If you allow your job to tell you that you're not working hard enough and you're not giving enough because you are too busy going to school, or you're too busy trying to start that business, or you're not focused and they might fire you. If you let your job tell you to prioritize working for somebody else over building for yourself, you're letting them dictate who you are. I think it's a really important mindset that someone has to have when they wake up and understand that you're not just living, you are surviving. See, there's an interesting thing in life that I'm starting to realize is that there are things in this lifetime that tries to convince us that we're good. There's so many things out here that are trying to convince us we're good. Yeah, just clock in, bro. You can go ahead and I dare anybody to lie to me and say they ain't never think this. They knew they ain't have enough money to buy what they wanted to buy, right? You knew you wanted this one thing, and you knew for a fact that you had the bread, but you wasn't ready to buy it, because if you spent that bread on that thing, you was going to be tight for money for a little bit. But then in your head, you thought to yourself, well, I got another check coming in next week. I'm good. I'm about to go buy this joint. And see, that's the way life gets us, right? Is we start to think that we always have another opportunity. We start to think that we're always going to have another chance. But I'm here to tell you guys this, right? Like, there's been times in my life where I realized that, I'm going to keep it 100. I fucked up. Like, I did that thing, but that thing that I did took an opportunity from me that I could never get back. I've had times in life where I've done things and I've messed up stuff for myself to where it's like, bro, like, damn, like, I messed this up and now I can't get nothing. I can't reverse this. So, like, when you wake up to go to your job, or when you wake up to go ahead and handle your business and make that money, it's like, do you make the money thinking and anticipating that that money is going to come the next 2 weeks, or that money is going to come the next paycheck? Or do you wake up and say, listen, I don't know about this job, but I do know that I need to make sure that I have something guaranteed. And see, that's why people get stuck. People get stuck because they're comfortable. People get stuck because they forget that the mindset we need to have is the mindset of survival, a mindset of, I got to bust my ass every single day and work hard to become a better version of myself, because if I don't, I might fall behind and somebody else may replace my business. Somebody else may replace or do or take on that idea I had. How many of us had ideas and watched these ideas come into fruition and we're like, damn, I just thought of that? How many times you watch a commercial on TV and you like, I thought of that invention? That happened to me several times, right? But let me give you guys a perspective. You ready? So what if I was to tell you that an idea is energy? And I don't want to get too weird with this, but it's an interesting thought, right? Ideas are energy. And energy can't be destroyed. Nobody can destroy energy, right? Energy can only be transferred. So what if I was to tell you that your idea was energy, and the ideas you don't act on get transferred to someone else, and then they actually can do it, and you literally lose out? Now, I don't know if this is true or not, but someone told me this one day. It was the guy that told me this about the whole ideas being transferred, and if you don't act on the idea will go to somebody else, and they'll have an opportunity. And when I was told that made me super observant, or that made me, is observant a word? That made me observe the time frame that I actually took to act on certain things. Because, see, I'll be damned if I let somebody else take an idea that I have. I'll be damned if I keep sitting here standing around like a fool or idiot working for somebody and neglecting my own future and neglecting myself. So if you're out there and you feel stuck, understand that you're the person to blame first. That's the first thing you need to do, is understand, I'm the person that needs to take the blame. You need to take the blame because you are too fucking comfortable. You're too comfortable. You're too content. And have no fear, right? Because the reason we get comfortable is not necessarily because we choose. It's because what we are taught, what we are brainwashed to be. Because sometimes we fail to realize that a lot of us are not in control. A lot of us, we're not in control. Right? I'm still not in control of everything I want to be in control of. See, I can really self-assess my stuff and the stuff that I got going on and realize like, I still got a lot of work to do to have the ultimate control that I need to be able to excel and be that higher version of myself I want to be. But I can't make money or build profit or build generational wealth building it for someone else as well. So then you start realizing that you either going to have to take a sacrifice as far as sacrifice that job, not saying quit the job, but understand that you're not going to put that job first anymore, and that you're going to actually put your business first and put that business second or maybe last, right? And let me walk you through what that kind of looks like, because I had a whole talk with a student today, and we actually had to talk about this, right? So some people work 40 hours a week, right? Some people work more, some people work less. How do you have a schedule for your job and abide by that schedule, but you don't have a schedule for your life? Like, how do you have a schedule that you actually utilize, that somebody else gave you, but don't have a schedule for your life, for yourself? How do you clock in and be on time for somebody else, but you don't clock in and be on time for yourself? How do you clock in for a job? Like, how do you actually get your ass up out of bed, right? Put your socks on, your drawers, brush your teeth. If you ain't getting a shower, go ahead and get in the shower first before you do all of that. And then get your ass up, get in the wheel, and drive to work. How do you do that, but not wake up when your alarm clock goes off next to you when you don't have anything to do during the day but work on yourself? How do you put yourself last and put everything first that does not serve you or does not actually owe or does not need you? Like, these are certain things I had to learn. I used to hate doing that shit, and then they used to call me an unmotivated group. Yup. They will, and that's what jobs do, right? And I'm an employer. So let's make this very clear, right? I'm somebody that actually hires people, and I'm somebody that has people working for me that I pay. So, like, I understand the best of both worlds, right? Like, I'll be the first to tell you, the secrets and tips and tricks that I do to make sure employees stay working for me is I stay understaffed. I won't fully staff my store, right? Because if I fully staff my store, I know that this person will then have time to go on their phone and look on Indeed. I know the person could probably go ahead and start working on their schoolwork or work on their own business. No, I'm going to stay short-staffed so that you are attentive at all points when customers walk inside the building. I'm also going to try and flurry you with money. Even though you're not making more money than me and you're making me more money, right? I'll say, yo, I'll pay you $30 an hour. But best believe if I'm paying you $30 an hour, I'm making $50. And also, I'm going to give you PTO. I'm going to give you PTO because I'm going to work you and run you down on the ground until you are exhausted. And when you get exhausted, then I'm going to give you a break. But I'm only going to give you a break when you get exhausted. Because, see, while you are getting exhausted, I'm chilling. I'm relaxing. I'm working on something else that I need to work on. But I still appreciate you. But I don't want you to ever have a chance of thinking about leaving my side. Because I benefit from you more than you benefit from me. And also, I need you to operate. See, but as an employer, that's how you think, and you have a head count, and you understand how much each employer is worth. But as an employee, it's like, where do you actually get the balls to say, you know what, like, I do understand I need the bread. I do understand that I may have bills, right? But when does it stop? Like, when do I stop working my ass to death? When do I stop running myself into the ground? When do I stop actually feeling like I am being used? When do I stop letting money run me instead of letting me actually have the freedom to do what I want? When do I stop putting money over me? The problem is people value money more than they value time. Entrepreneurs and successful individuals view time over money. So I'll pay somebody $30 an hour when I'm making $50 an hour, even though I could be making $70 an hour, because I understand that that person working for me is giving me more time to go ahead and do what the hell I want. They're giving me time to go ahead and sit down, play 2K and Call of Duty and go travel and go ahead and play with my kids and go ahead and go on field trips and go on trips and go and do things that I want to do. I understand that time is way more important because, see, money can always be made. How many of us went broke before? I've been broke. You ever been so broke you're like, damn, bro, this is my last. Like, damn, I don't know what I'm finna do, but you're here. But let me ask you something. How many of us was able to actually lose some time and get it back? How many? Nobody, right? You can't lose time and get it back. So when you go and clock into your job, I want you to understand one thing. Your job is not there to help you. Your job is there to make you feel stable, comfortable, and content so that you don't ever think to do what you need to do, which is be able to be needed and provide for yourself so nobody else can throw you aside when they feel like it. And see, that's what my platform is about. That's what I do. See, I'm not no preacher. I ain't no motivational speaker. I am a person that has been on my ass. I've been in positions where I've been a child kicked out numerous of times, sleeping under cars. I've been a person that was in high school and had to go get a job because I ain't had no money to eat lunch. So I went and lied to Sam's Club and got a job there, got fired. And I was that person that actually struggled when they fired me and realized that, damn, we put all of our time, our effort into an employer in a position, right? I want to be the best employee possible, excuse me. But then when you don't like something that I did, you don't like something that I said, you don't like the way that I looked, you don't like the way that I called out, you don't like the way that I talked to this customer and that customer, you fire me. So when you fire me, what happens? Oh, you'll get your paycheck. But that paycheck ain't going survive. That's not going to help me. That's not going to actually help me because that paycheck is going to stop eventually. You know, I had a partner. If you don't know what I do, I am a phone flipper and a product reseller. So what I do is I have a product distributing company where I actually give products to resellers. So I have a wholesale warehouse where I actually sell products to people. Sort of kind of like an AliExpress or like an Alibaba, but it's in the United States of America. It's WESPLY.com, right? WESPLY.com. So I have this warehouse, and what I did, right, is I secured a contract with T-Mobile. And what I did was secure this contract with T-Mobile to actually help T-Mobile businesses. I would actually help the so you know how you have a rep when you walk into a store, you got the rep that helps you with your phone, right? So there are business reps that actually walk to businesses and pitch to businesses and try to get them to leave Verizon and AT&T and come to them or come to T-Mobile, right? Usually when they're trying to close this deal, the business will say, well, Verizon is giving me cases for all of my phones for my employees and chargers and AirPods. What can you do? T-Mobile doesn't own the AirPods. They don't own the cases 9 times out of 10. What they do is they Apple does, so, or whatever company does. So when somebody goes into T-Mobile and buys AirPods, the money's not going directly to T-Mobile, it's going to Apple. But nevertheless, right, my company was the company that would provide the business rep with T-Mobile the accessories. So the AirPods, the cases, the chargers, they would buy, T-Mobile would buy, no, excuse me, not T-Mobile, I'm sorry, guys. The business will buy the accessories from me and buy the phone from T-Mobile, okay? So I have this partnership. I'm like, all right, bet, cool, right? That's some consistent bread. Mind you, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm doing my thing, but contracts are always good, right? So we had these weekly calls. These weekly calls I had to get onto to talk to the head of this T-Mobile team. So we're talking. And then I say to him one day, I said, yo, I don't like the way that this is working. I feel like I should be getting paid more because I'm providing the product to you guys, but you guys are making me pay for shipping to the customer, and y'all taking a 30% split. Like you're taking 30% of my profit. He didn't like that I said that, right? So a whole bunch of stuff just started snowballing. Like he just started acting weird, and I'm not a fan of people acting weird. I don't easily hide my emotions, right? Like I'm up front, right? So the partnership got terminated. But the way the partnership got terminated, he called me one day and he was like, yo, Brandon, how are you? I was like, I'm good. How are you? He's like, I'm good. I was thinking maybe instead of doing a partnership, let's just do something where I give you a call when we need your, any accessories and da-da-da. So under the table type of thing, right? I was like, no, let's not do that. Let's just end it all, right? But the point of the matter is the reason he wanted to do that was because he had somebody that knew the numbers and understood that you were eating more than I was, and I was providing more value than you were. And yes, we're both making money off of T-Mobile, but the point of the matter is I'm not getting equal money, but I'm doing more work. That contract gave me a lot of money, but I was willing to leave that contract and wipe my hands from that bread because the money could have easily distracted me into taking whatever, right? And doing whatever I needed just because the money made me feel good. See, the point that I'm trying to make, if I didn't make it, is that money is a way to actually finesse you mentally. Sometimes you have to actually be in that space when you get paid and realize how you feel. When you look at your bank account and that check hit and you wake up and you know it's payday and you wake up and then you see that extra bread in your account, you feel good. You feel good. You feel like, all right, bet I'm finna go back to work. I'm gonna have a good day today. You feel me? I'm gonna have a great day. That paycheck just hit. I'm good, right? But then you have to start to realize that money should never control you in that way. See, it's not about how much money you have. It's about how much freedom you do. So understand the difference. And this is where a lot of people become slaves instead of becoming business entrepreneurs, moguls, whatever you want to call it, right? Is that they think that money provides freedom. Money doesn't provide freedom. Money provides bills. Because, see, you still got to pay the taxes. You still got to literally deal with the fact that you're going to buy more expensive shit the more money you get, right? It's not like you get a lot of money and then you just keep it. That's not how it works. When you get a lot of money, 9 times out of 10, you buying and treating yourself good, right? Because people that's not used to money, they don't know how to spend money. So they usually just spend the shit out of it, right? That's how it works. But let me tell you something. The way you got to think of it is, if you really want wealth, you want more time more than you want more money. Because what I had to realize as an entrepreneur, because I've had a bunch of money and didn't know what to do with it. I had the penthouse, I had the nice car, I had everything I needed, right? California king bed, I'm eating whatever I want, I'm traveling whenever I want, I'm going on trips and taking flights same day, $600, $800 flights, I'm doing whatever I want. But then I had to realize that, yo, I'm happy and thankful that I have this money. So let's not get that. I don't want to ever seem like I was ungrateful. What's up? What's up? I was grateful. But I had to understand that just because I had money, it didn't mean I was valuable. It didn't mean that I was wealthy, because I had the money, but I also had the stress. I remember me sitting inside my penthouse wondering how I was going to pay the rent, not because I didn't have the money. I had the bread. But I then took some of the bread and got this new car that was costing me, it was like $1,100 a month. Then the penthouse was costing me $24. And then I had 2 stores, so I was paying that rent too. And like, the more money I got, the more expenses I got. And then I had a presentation to keep up, right? I had to look good. So it wasn't that I didn't have the money to pay the bills. It was more so, what do I value more? Do I value actually paying this bill or falling behind a little bit just so that I can still flash this money? You know, then I actually had to step back because I lost it all because I was a dick. Money changed me and made me treat people like shit. And when I started treating people like shit, I lost everything. And I lost everything because that's what God wanted from me, right? He wanted me to lose everything because I had to get knocked off my high horse, and also I had to understand what this season of failure was going to bring me, right? And what it brought me was humbleness, because I had to move back in with my grandmother, and I still had bread, but I had to move back in with her because I had to terminate my lease and all of the other stuff. But when I moved back in with my grandmother, I actually started to realize, like, yo, I'm really cool. I'm good. Like, I got a lot of time on my hands. I can work on this business, work on that business. I'm good. I don't need the fancy apartment and the fancy cars. And this is before I was doing YouTube, so I wasn't even showing any of it. Yeah, he humbled me for sure. You feel me? And I'm so appreciative because, you know, what I had to realize was somebody being wealthy or me being wealthy really honestly was, thank you for follow. Thank you for the follow. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. But what I had to realize was being able to have time made me less stressed. It made me more appreciative, but it also gave me more insight on problems that I could solve and businesses I could create. So I learned the whole time, me thinking that just making bread and making money was going to actually build me and help me grow. Nah, money was actually holding me back. I had friends asking me to scam. I had friends asking me, yo, B, I'm going to go to your store. I'm going to buy this phone with this credit card. And then, like, they going to charge back, but I'm going to give you some of the bread. I'm like, bro, I'm good. But, like, little things like that, like, you start attracting the wrong shit when you start actually prioritizing money over prioritizing you, but prioritizing your time. So, like, when you walk into work, I'm not telling you guys, everybody out there that feels stuck, I'm not telling you that your job is shitty and you should just quit your job and your job is the problem. What I'm telling you is the way that you view your job, the way that you view money, that is the problem. Because there's no reason for you to be stuck because you don't have no money. Because it's enough money out here for you to be able to get it tomorrow. The point is that you obviously don't have the mindset to attract the money. That's why you don't have it. It's not because you're not good enough. It's because you may not be thinking about the money in the right manner. How many of us don't want to let money go? How many of us get butterflies looking at our bank accounts? How many of us don't like spending the bread that we already have? How many of us don't like paying our bills? How many of us actually feel like if we go under a certain amount of money, we're worthless? How many of us feel like we actually need money to be somebody, especially men? A lot, right? But then you start to realize that if you are somebody out there busting your ass, working doubles, overtime, right? You got bread, but you don't got no time to spend it. And then, yes, you got you got a lot of people out here that are going to DR, they're going to different trips and living their lives. I got a lot of friends that are that make a lot of money and do a lot of different things. But what I realize is that when I'm around them, it's we just competing, right? All right, bro, like you a 6-figure earner, I'm a 6-figure earner. Great. What car you pulling up in? All right, what car am I pulling up in? All right, is your girl bad? All right, is my girl. Like, it's all a competition, but it doesn't lead anywhere. It doesn't lead anywhere. The way you get unstuck is by prioritizing the fact that the way that you can change your situation starts with accountability and understanding that you need to have some shit of your own. I'm gonna tell y'all this. I knew this scammer, right? This scammer, he been in jail a few times, and a high school friend. So long story short, a high school friend, we disconnected, ended up reconnecting. When I reconnected with him, he was good. He was in a 650 coupe. He was chilling. I'm like, yo, bro, what you do? He like, man, I do stocks. Long story short, I ended up finding out that was Cap, right? He was a scammer. So I told him, I said, yo, bro, like, just stop. Here, this is what I'm going to do. Come to my store at this time. I'm going to give you an interview, and I'm going to set you up with one of my managers, and we're going to get you a legitimate job. So he said, all right. I set everything up. He never showed. Now, I was young at this time, so I'm like, yo, bro, don't ever hit me. Don't hit me up again, bro. Like, I'm not helping you again. Like, you wasting my time, right? Later down the line, he in jail again. He gets out. I said, bro, I know I gave you this chance before. I'm going to give you another one. I have a store that I'm starting. I know you know a lot about technology. Would you mind helping me with this store? I'll put you in the manager position. I'll pay you X amount of dollars. Right? You're like, all right, bro, cool. But just real quick, bro, I'm going to call you back because I got to do X, Y, and Z. You ever talking to somebody on the phone and then you explaining something to them? Maybe it's a goal. Maybe it's a dream. Maybe you excited about some shit. And you talking to your friend, right? And you talking like, yeah, man, I can't believe it. And then they not really listening. Or they not even really comprehending. You could just tell they not really in tune. Right? Those are the friends you need to get the fuck away from. I'm going to tell you that from the rip. Because those are the friends, they not on your mental level. They're not on that floor. They a little bit lower, right? So, long story short, this person ends up losing everything, and having to DoorDash to build back up. And this is not a knock to that person because, see, that person, he's a subscriber of mine. He sees my YouTube videos. It's my guy. But I give you guys that example because some people just don't get it. Some people just won't understand it. And some people just won't change. Not because they can't, not because they're restricted, not because they're black, not because they're white, not because they're purple, not because they're tall, not because They are programmed to get fast money. They're programmed to get checks and think of money as money being something that is going to validate them. Therefore, they need to get it ASAP, or they need to make sure that they're in a environment where they can guarantee that they're going to get some money back. See, a lot of people don't fuck with reselling, and a lot of people don't fuck with really being an entrepreneur, because fucking with being an entrepreneur means that you're no way, shape, or form guaranteed to make money at all. You got to actually make the motherfucking money. You actually got to make the money. You actually got to like literally make it. Like there's no check coming. Like there's no nothing. Like I wake up tomorrow, if I don't do nothing, if I don't bust my ass, there's no money coming in. There's no way for me to actually be able to put food in my mouth if I don't bust my ass. That scares people. That's why people don't become entrepreneurs for real. See, the way I look at it, because I like watching Pop the Balloons on YouTube, and I always see when they be like, what's your occupation? I am a doctor plus an entrepreneur. I own several businesses. I am a nail tech, an esthetician, and I own about 4 different businesses. See, I always see people saying they're an entrepreneur, but I don't ever see nobody doing it. Like I always hear people be like, yeah, I'm a serial entrepreneur and I'm this, and this, right? But like, do you wake up and have to make a way? Do you wake up and have to survive? See, it's a difference, but it's not like an entrepreneur is over anybody. No, it's just a different type of risk, because a 9-to-5 worker, they're literally putting their future, their food, their family, literally out there for somebody else to provide for. And that's a risk, just as much as being an entrepreneur is a risk. But understand the difference. Being an entrepreneur, there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee at all. But you get that freedom to actually be who you want to be. Do what you want to do. But is that really freedom? It depends on the person, because, see, prime example. I used to have business partners that smoked before every business meeting. They smoked before every business meeting. Now, I don't smoke. I used to smoke. When I was in college, I used to smoke. When I was younger, I used to smoke, you feel me? But then I stopped. And then people looked at me like, yo, why you stop smoking, bro? I'm like, bro, I'm not blowing money in the air anymore. Oh, no, you tripping. So they would go to the business meetings high. And then I would watch how the people we're meeting with lost respect for them. And then I removed myself around people like that. Not because there's anything wrong with weed or anything wrong with smoking in general. It's something wrong with you not knowing when the appropriate time to do it is. See, I hate when I see people just sitting around talking and just politicking about nothing with people. Why? Because there's no way you should be politicking and talking about another man or talking about your bets and all of that stuff, and you still don't got a way to provide for your damn self without needing someone else. These are the reasons people are stuck. Not because they are stuck by coincidence, but they're stuck by choice. A lot of people that are going to watch this, whether it's later or now, are stuck by choice. You're stuck because you want to be stuck, because you don't have the balls to do what it's needed to be done to be successful. And success is honestly, it's an opinion. It's different for others, right? Not everybody's definition of success is the same. But I will tell you guys this. The way for you to get unstuck is by literally trusting yourself enough to do the things that you don't know the outcome for. Now, I'm not asking you to go out there and invest in people like me. See, that's how thorough I am. Because, see, this isn't a sales pitch or anything about products or phone flipping. Forget all that for right now, right? There's a reason I'm live right now on a Saturday at 8:34 p.m. There's a reason. And this is for the person out there right now that just feels unhappy, not appreciated, not loved, not cared for, used, overwhelmed, right? Because I've had all of these feelings as well. The only way for you to get out of this space is by taking a risk. It don't have to be financial. Like, you don't have to go ahead and make a $500 purchase tomorrow. But if you are working with somebody, if you are going to go out there and sell digital products and make ebooks on Canva and think you're going to get rich, I'm going to tell you right now, that's stupid. I'm going to tell you that right now. It's stupid. It's dumb. It's not smart. That's dumb. Because, see, understand this. Me and my friend, side note, I wander a lot because I think when I speak for a purpose. I speak to translate to someone. Because I always have, when I go live, I always think about who I'm talking to, right? I had a friend that wanted to fix his credit. Because me and him, we have invested in a few properties together. But like we just did this crazy thing with this duplex, and he got a car, and long story short, his credit messed up, right? So he go on Instagram looking for all of these people that fix credit. And he like, yo, bro, you think this person legit? I'm like, nah, bro. How about this? Nah, bro. How about this? Nah, bro. Nobody's legit no more. Let's make this very clear. Anybody that spends all day on social media isn't making money. Anybody that spends all day on social media isn't making money. Now, let me explain. If you're spending all day on social media not providing any value, you're not making money. If you're spending all day on social media talking about, hey, guys, I can show you how to make an ebook with Canva, you're not making money. Because I don't need you to teach me how to make ebooks with Canva. I don't need you to teach me how to make a digital product. I don't need you to teach me how to sell a digital product. I don't need you to teach me how to sell on Stand Store. I don't need you to teach me how to sell on Beacons. I don't need you to teach me how to do something I can look on YouTube and learn how to do by myself. You want to know how I got unstuck? I sat on my grandmother's couch at 19 years old. I said, you know what? I'm tired of being a bum. I don't think I'm going to get no girl sitting on my grandmother's couch all day. And you know what? I'm turning this damn TV off. I'm getting off of whatever site was popular at that time. I think it was Facebook. And I'm going to learn how to do Photoshop. I'm going to learn how to do Photoshop because I'm going to start making flyers for people to come and I think it was Wake Up Now I was doing at the time, and come to my Wake Up Now meetings or whatever. And I learned how to do Photoshop. I didn't learn how to do Photoshop from no guru. I didn't learn how to do no Photoshop from no teacher. I learned from YouTube. Free. Anything you need to learn, you can learn for free. The difference between working with somebody and learning for free is working with somebody sometimes, depending on the person, could shorten your learning curve. That's it. But if you're somebody trying to get unstuck, you're going to have to say, I need to learn something. You need to learn something that's going to physically give you some value, not an ebook. How can somebody that does not know, I don't want to make them sound dumb. How can somebody make an ebook out of thin air? I just want to know, how do these people in these communities selling digital products think that they are valuable? Like, how do you become valuable? Because the only way I know value is by providing an asset. Hence why I sell physical products and I don't just sell digital. And I do sell digital products, but the digital products I sell are like phone flipping, priceless and stuff like that. Like price list to my buyers and like physical like access to things, right? Yeah, they still on the digital products and they're not even experts in the same thing. Exactly. I mean, you got to really look at it, right? Like a digital product person, what qualifies you to actually sell me this digital product? What qualifies you to sell me this ebook? What qualifies you to be able to sell me a course selling digital product? Like, what digital product did you thrive in for you to be able to teach me how to sell digital products? Drop shippers, where is your store where you've made $100,000 and it needs to be active right now? Where's your store at? Where's it at? Where is your Shopify store that generates 6 figures like that video you showed? Where is the store? I want to type the URL in right now. Where is it at? I'm going to tell you something that don't exist. I got to stop cursing because I got a strike on TikTok already. Where does it exist? It doesn't. That's the difference. The difference is people are so desperate for money, they will sell you dreams knowing that you want to be successful, knowing you want to make money. They'll sell you on dreams because they're selling you hope and they're making money off of that. There's too many people out here acting like they're making money and providing value when they have no assets. There's too many people out here acting like they are doing something when they're not doing anything. There's too many people out here acting like they're not stuck when they are. There's too many people out here, and I'm going to tell you something. Just because you're making money, it does not mean that you're not stuck. There's contractors out here that I know that make a lot of money, but they're not going to be able to make a lot of money for a long time because they're killing themselves. They're killing their body. They're hurting themselves. See, you got to work smarter, not harder. And you have to also understand that sometimes there's a slow grind and sometimes there's a grind that's fast. But there's a difference between hustling and a difference between slaving yourself away. Hold on, y'all. There's a difference. And see, smart people that capitalize and make money understand the difference. And I'm so humbled by, like, you know, when I have one-on-one calls and I hear people say, yeah, bro, you sound so smart. And did you go to school for business? And did you do this and that? I didn't go to school for no business. I didn't go to school. I didn't go to college. I didn't get A's. I didn't get B's. Well, sometimes I got B's, but I got B's and C's and sometimes D's and sometimes on a rare occasion F's. But I was not the star student. I wasn't the person that went in front of the class and spoke. I wasn't the person that knew how to count money and make money. I wasn't the most flyest person in high school. Nah, I wasn't. But see, that's the thing. It's not about what you were. It's about what you are. It's not about what you were given. It's about what you take. It's about what you learn. It's about when you actually get up and realize that you're not going to settle for what you've been given, and you're going to actually go ahead and learn what you want for you to be able to take whatever you need. That's the difference. Understanding that if you want it, you should be able to get it, but you have to teach yourself how to gain those resources, because if you rely on somebody else, they're going to dictate your future and be able to dictate the outcomes and also put it in your face and say, hey, listen, I'm the reason you're here. That's why I don't take handouts. I've been in plenty of rooms with people asking for my help, and I tell them straight to their faces, I don't do handouts, bro. I'm not giving you no handout. Because if I give you a handout, I'm going to be that person that's going to think in my head, well, dang, you owe me. And I don't ever want to think that way. But that's just business. It's business. Understand the difference. There's no personal, it's only business. And understand that you're only as valuable as the assets that you have. You're not, and I'm talking business, not personally. You're not going to be valuable selling a digital product that 3 other billion people are selling. You're not valuable. You don't have no business if you are the middleman to a warehouse in China and you have a Shopify store. You're using an extension that you pay $25 every single month to use in order to be able to drop ship these products. Instead, drop ship from Walmart and Target so you can actually get the products physically. You're not valuable taking shortcuts. Shortcuts don't make you money. You're not valuable selling AirPod replicas because there's a bunch of people selling replicas. Understand the difference. There's a difference between being a hustler and being a sucker. It's a difference between being somebody that's creating a facade and being somebody that's actually building. Building does not mean you are getting the results instantly. Sometimes you're going to be on your ass. Sometimes you're going to be down. Sometimes you're going to struggle. Sometimes you're going to go back to square one. That's not bad. I'd rather go back to square one 1,000 times than go ahead and make fast money and lose it all and not know what to do. You know how many scammers right now are out there broke, busted, and disgusted and struggling? Not because they don't have the potential, but because they don't even know no other way. You know how many people did insurance claims with Asurion for phones, trying to get these phones and doing false claims with T-Mobile and Verizon, and now that has stopped, they don't know what to do? They out there working DoorDash 24/7. Do you know how many people out there don't even know how to get anything from the muscle? They don't know how to get any products. They don't know how to do anything by themselves. It's a lot of people, and it's not about them not being able to. It's about the way that you settle for things dictates the outcomes that you have in the future. If you don't want to have a bad outcome, and if you want to not be stuck, understand how to not take handouts, how to not take shortcuts, and how to understand the true definition of hustle. Hustle can't be taught. You either got it or you don't. Understand the difference. Not everybody is an entrepreneur. And not everybody needs to be. We need people that work 9 to 5s. There's nothing wrong with working a 9 to 5. There's only something wrong working a 9 to 5 if you feel like you deserve better. If you feel like your time is worth more. Everybody's time isn't worth the same. I have no problem employing somebody and walking in an interview and asking them, how much are you worth? I've asked plenty of people that, how much are you worth? And how much should I pay you? And 9 times out of 10, when I ask that simple question, a lot of people are so scared. They don't even know how to answer it. I'm open. You open to what? That's a red flag right there. I wish somebody would ask me how much I'm worth. More than you can afford. But I'll give you a discount for a year. I'll work here for a year, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm gonna have to balance. I'm building up my money so I can do X, Y, and Z. But see, if I was to go in an interview, the way I would approach it is, if somebody asked me how much I'm worth, I would say, if I'm being honest with you, I can't even put a number on my worth or the way or amount I'm worth an hour. But what I will say is the amount that I am worth will not equate the amount that production I will be able to provide this company. So one thing I will tell you is that I'm going to be ultra observant on the way I'm treated, just as much as I'm observant on the way that I am providing and producing. Because see, the difference between me and a lot of candidates is that my value is not determined based upon my hourly wage. It's based upon how much I am providing in value to this company. Because while I do want to grow, I also want to build. And while I do understand how much I'm worth, I do want you to understand that it's not about me being worth anything. It's about how much are you willing to invest. I'm an investment. The reason I'm an investment, because I will get you a lot more money than you'll be willing to pay me. But see, I am looking to learn. I'm looking to understand. I want to learn leadership. I don't want to be a leader with this company because I am focused on being a leader with my own. It's a difference. Stop being content. Stop settling. Know who you are. That's it, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you guys, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.